Hi, welcome to Bookshelf Games. I'm Lawrence. This week, starting a really big video series. We're going to be starting a series on Magic Realm. This game was developed by Richard Hamblin, published by Avalon Hill back in 1978. It plays from 1 to 16 players, and it's played in estimated 240 minutes. This is a really great older game. It's pretty complicated. I've got a lot of people to thank for this video. First of all, Joel Yoder. He wrote the manual, Magic Realm in plain English, which is kind of a condensed, easy to read, pretty fast way to learn the rules. And I'm going to be pretty much following that word for word for this video. So it's probably a good idea to download that and go ahead and read it. That'll get you started in the game really well. In addition to Magic Realm in plain English, there's also Magic Realm 3rd edition, and that was written by Teresa Mitchelson, Stephen McKnight, Jay Richardson, and Daniel Farrow. All worked on that, and that's a really, really great resource. After you've learned the game using Magic Realm in plain English, you're going to need that Magic Realm version 3.1, so you're able to play the game correctly. That's written in the old Avalon Hill style, where the rules are broken up into Rule 1, Rule 1A, Rule 1A1, Rule A1, AA, whatever, all the way down. So you really get every specific circumstance that could happen in the game is going to be covered in that rule book. They did a really good job on it, so you're definitely going to download that as well. Sorry, I didn't get in contact with John Frenzel, but I'm using his redesigned counters in this video. So, sorry and thanks a lot, John. I didn't have contact info for you. But he redesigned the monster chips and the native chips in the game, and it makes it much easier to play. A lot less referencing of the manual, and I'll be using those in this video. Also, I'm looking for contributions. What I'm going to do is, after we get the video instructions down following the Magic Realm in plain English, I'm going to try and go through and record inside of a program called RealmSpeak examples of the different characters. And there's a lot of different characters. Some of them are pretty complicated to use. So if you're good at this game and you want to help out, please contact me. I've got a really simple, free way to create these using RealmSpeak. RealmSpeak is pretty much a Java-based version of the game. It's a great tool for learning or just playing. I mean, you can go through a game of RealmSpeak in an hour by yourself. It's great. That was developed by Robin Warren, and he's nice enough to let me go ahead and gave me permission to use the program in these example videos. But again, there's a lot of them, so if you're good at the game and you'd like to help out, please contact me. Also, I originally heard of this game from one of our viewers wrote in. Kyle had wrote in and asked me if we could do a video for it. I think he was kind of joking a bit. Because at the time, the game was selling for about $300 or something on eBay. I was able to find a lower price copy. I think I got this one for a little under $100, which is not too bad. I think the back was missing and a couple other little things, but for the most part it was complete and very playable. So, got lucky there. And thanks for the suggestion, Kyle. I've definitely been enjoying the game since he recommended it. Also, T. Gray Lane, he's been helping me out with some of the Codex stuff. He's also kind of pointing me towards the direction to eventually get these videos translated into Flash, which should help with size and also just a better interface for viewers. But that could take a while. I don't have that ready by the time we get these posted. But thanks a lot for the help, T. Gray. And I believe that's it. If I forgot someone, I apologize. Oh, well, also, yeah, I played a couple games, well, just one so far. Played a game of RealmSpeak with a few of the guys from Board Game Geek, Steve McKnight, Jorge Montero, and Shane Street. And they kind of walked me through a few things and helped out a lot as far as me learning the game. So thanks, guys. Appreciate it. Hopefully we'll get to do it again. Okay, so anyway, for this video, we're breaking them up just like the Magic Realm in plain English. Because as I said, we're going to follow that pretty closely. So today we're going to do components. Next week we're going to go ahead and get into setup, and then we'll get into the game rounds. Now you probably noticed that there's a lot of different episodes planned here. This is a really, really big game. But some of those episodes will be pretty short. The first one that comes to mind is going to be the episode 3, I believe it is, the Bird Song. That's just kind of the beginning of the round. that should be really short video. So I think by the time we're done, this all should be longer than the TI3 video, but not much. So hopefully it'll be watchable length. So anyway, we'll go ahead and start getting components now. Map tiles. The map tiles of the realm are constructed anew every time the game is played. When the map tiles are assembled, they show mountainous forests dotted with clearings interconnected by roadways. Let's take a quick look at a couple of the tiles. Most of the game takes place in the round clearings, which are numbered so they can be easily designated in play. There are three types of clearings. Light brown clearings completely surrounded by gray mountain ridges are mountain clearings. Black clearings surrounded by dotted white lines are cave clearings, or caves. All other clearings are woods clearings. Clearings can be connected by four types of roadways. We have the light brown open roads, the black underground tunnels, the gray speckled black secret passages, and the dark brown hidden paths. The green side of each tile is the front or normal side. The vari-colored reverse side is the enchanted side. All tiles start the game normal side up. The enchanted side is used only with the magic rules. There are some special rules having to do with how clearings are connected by roads. If we see here, there are no crossroads or forks between clearings. Open roads run over tunnels without connecting. The mine openings just mark the junction between underground and above ground. They do not affect gameplay. There are four different types of map tiles. The first one we'll look at are valley tiles. Valley tiles have four clearings in them, and they're named with the word valley. Woods tiles have three clearings in them, and they're named with the word woods. Cave tiles will have 6 clearings in them, at least one of which must be a cave. It's important to note that cave tiles do not have the word cave in them necessarily. We've got the caves and the caverns, but then also the ruins and the borderlands. Mountain tiles also have 6 clearings in them. They also must have no caves. So, even though the deep woods does not have any mountains in it, it's still considered a mountain tile because it has 6 clearings and no caves. The map chits represent traces of monsters or important sites in a tile. They are placed on the map face down secretly to define what is in each tile. During the game, the chits control which monsters and natives come to the board, and also where treasures can be found. Yellow warning chits represent clues that identify nearby monsters or dwellings. They imply monsters that can appear in any clearing in the tile. Red sound chits represent sounds made by monsters, as we can see with this Howl 4. The word indicates which monsters can appear, and the number indicates which clearing they will arrive in. And a quick note, this chit is supposed to be completely red. He's got that yellow strip on the top because I think the die cut was off on my set. But what are you going to do? Each gold, or kind of orange, site chit marks a site where treasure is hidden. The number on the chit is the clearing where the site is located. The red Lost City and Lost Castle chits are stand-in for stacks of 5 sound and sight chits. The tiles where they appear are placed thick with monsters and treasure. The red Lost City and Lost Castle chits are stand-ins for stacks of 5 sound and sight chits. The tiles where they appear are places thick with monsters and treasure. The dwelling counters represent buildings and campsites inhabited by humans. They're usually found in the valleys, but the 2 campfires must be encountered in the woods tiles. There are 16 different characters in the Magic Realm. Each character has a card which provides a summary of his abilities. The front of the card names and pictures him. N shows the symbol that identifies him and all of his personal pieces. The back of each character card also shows the character's name, the symbol used to represent them, what the symbol means. Below that, his weight and vulnerability shows how heavy he is and how hard he is to kill. His special advantages are special rules that apply only to him. The development section lists all of his action chits. The 4 stages are listed for use with the optional development rules. All characters in the standard game start the 4th stage of development with all 12 chits. The last stage shows what equipment the character begins the basic game with. The bottom of the card lists the character's trading relationships. These affect how he interacts with inhabitants of the realm. Unlisted denizens are neutral towards the character. Counters and chits. Each character uses the counters and chits with his or her symbol. Each should have the following. The round counter is his character counter, often just called his counter. It represents the location on the map. The green side of the counter is turned up when the character is hidden. One blank chit, which is the character's attention chit, and this has various uses, as we'll see. And quick note, it's only blank on the bottom side. On the top, it still shows the character's symbol. 12 chits with words and numbers on them are the action chits. Most characters have only move, fight, and magic users have magic. The dwarf has a special chit called duck, and the berserker has a special chit called berserk, and these are used with their special abilities that are defined on their character sheets. The word on each chit defines what the chit is useful for. Move chits are used to carry things and evade attacks in combat. Fight chits are used to attack, and magic chits are used to cast spells. The letter on magic chits are Roman numerals which define what type of magic it is good for. The letter on all other types of chits are its strength of the chit. The number on the chit is the time needed to do the action. Lower numbers mean faster actions, so the lower the number, the better. The effort asterisks define how tiring it is to do an action. Using action chits. Action chits are either active and in play and available for use, or they're inactive, out of play, and not available. All action chits start the game active. They become inactive as a result of wounds or fatigue. Inactive chits cannot be used for any game function unless the rules specifically state that they can. When a chit becomes inactive, it must be put aside to indicate this. One way to keep track is to keep the active chits on the left of the character card and inactive chits on the right side. Chits that are fatigued are kept face up, while those that are wounded are turned face down. Personal history sheet. Each player uses a personal history sheet to record his turn and keep track of his character's progress throughout the game. This is the actual pad of character history sheets that came with Magic Realm. I'm not going to use these in the video because I don't want to waste them. I'm going to use the ones that I printed out from Board Game Geek. The biggest difference between the two is the ones that came with the game has 2 months on it for recording, and the one that I printed off just has the 1 month. During the game, the player uses the activities column to record his moves for each day. The sheet I'm using has just 1 month on it. The one that came with the original game, as I just said, has 2 months on them. To the right of that, there is also columns to record a character's status gains and losses, such as fame, notoriety, during each game day. The discovery section is used to record any hidden paths, secret passages, special cards, or treasure locations that are found by a character during the game. Each hidden path and secret passage is identified by the clearings it connects. The player uses the victory requirements box to record his game-winning conditions. These are kept secret from other players. The player will use the back of the personal history sheet for combat and magic. Character records the spells he can use in the spells box, and he'll use the melee section during combat. Each character has personal fame, notoriety, and goal points that he can gain and lose as the game progresses. Fame and notoriety both begin at 0. Fame indicates how much a character is admired or how much he's despised if he has negative points. Notoriety indicates how much the character is feared or how much he is scorned. Fame and notoriety can be gained by killing monsters. Notoriety can be gained by killing natives and other characters. Certain treasures in Magic Realm will also affect the character's fame and notoriety if he has them at the end of the game. A character's gold points show the value of the loose coins and jewels he's carrying. Recorded gold never weighs anything. Large values represent valuable gems. Each character starts the game with 10 gold. Unlike the fame and notoriety, gold can never fall below 0. You're not allowed to accumulate debt in Magic Realm. Belongings. Weapon counters, armor counters, round horse counters, and treasure cards are belongings that characters can own. All of these, but the horses, are considered items. Many characters will start the game with weapons and armor. The treasure cards and horses must be acquired as the game progresses. All counters have 2 sides, and most have different values on each side. Counters use the value that are face up at the moment and can only be flipped according to the rules. Each weapon counter represents the weapon pictured on it. The letter gives both the weight and the amount of harm it does in combat. The great axe shown here is a heavy weapon. A sharpness star after the weight will increase the harm against unarmored opponents. If there is a number, it gives the weapon's attack time. The asterisk indicates that the weapon is alerted and ready to make its best attack. Normal weapons are red on the alerted side. Treasure counters are gold. Weapons always keep their alerted side down unless they are yielded by a character who has specifically done something to alert them. Armor comes in 4 types: helmets, breastplates, shields, and suits of armor. We're going to take a look at a damaged helmet. The picture indicates that it is a helmet. The letter gives both the armor's weight and the harm needed to damage it. Each counter begins the game intact side up. When damaged, it is turned damaged side up and it remains damaged side up until it is repaired or destroyed. There are 3 types of horses: ponies, work horses, and war horses. The rounds counters can be owned and used by characters. Square horse counters can only be used by natives, or non-player characters. And we'll see why I have 2 different sets of these here in a minute. Taking a closer look at the round horse counters, the picture indicates what kind of horse it is. This one's a pony. The letter is the move strength, the weight the horse can carry when this side is up. If the horse has a different letter on each side, the horse's load will restrict how fast it can move. The number is the maneuver time of the horse. The asterisk indicates the horse is galloping. When the other side is up, the horse is walking. Inactive horses are always walking side up. An active horse can be turned either side up whenever its owner wishes, except during combat. The gold-backed weapon and armor counters are magic treasure counters that can be found in the realm. The pony with the L2 on one side and L4 on the other, as well as the war horse with T3 on one side and T5 on the other, are considered treasure counters. These are found in different places than the rest of the horses. The numbers and letters on these counters function identically to those found on regular counters. Treasure cards represent a variety of items characters can find in the realm, including weapons, armor, boots, gloves, jewelry, potions, and more. At the top of the treasure card is the name of the treasure, followed by a summary of what it can be used for. This treasure contains a spell. Cards with a gold dot are large treasures. Cards with no gold dot are small treasures that are generally lighter and less valuable. This distinction is only important when setting up the game. The gold dot is ignored during gameplay. A red Roman numeral indicates a spell type. Cards with a fame value modify a character's points at the end of the game. This card subtracts 5 from the owner's fame when the game ends. A red dot indicates a great treasure. Great treasures have no extra powers during the game, but owning them can increase a player's score at the game's end. Some treasure cards have a fame price in parentheses. The owner can earn fame by selling them to the native group named. So in this case it says guard 20 fame. If the character sells this item to the guard, he's going to get 20 fame. Most treasure cards have a weight. This treasure is light. If there's no letter, that indicates a negligible weight. Treasures with an N have a notoriety value, and add or subtract from the owner's notoriety at the end of the game. So in this case, the Royal Scepter subtracts 15 notoriety. The number in bold in the lower right corner is the treasure's gold price. That's how much you can sell it for. The 6 cards in the game, labeled P1 to P6 in red, are treasure within treasure cards. They contain other belongings. Some of these, like the Toadstool Circle, are considered treasure sites and can be looted using special looting tables. Colors printed in red indicate enchanted cards, and we'll go over that during the magic episode. If the card has "cannot move" written on the bottom, that indicates that the card is a treasure site and cannot be carried along with the character. Using belongings. Like action chips, belongings can either be active and ready to hand or inactive and packed away out of reach. All belongings should be placed in front of their owner with the corresponding group of action chips. There are a few basic restrictions on active belongings. An active weapon is being wielded. A character may only have one wielded weapon activated at the time. All other weapons must be inactive. Active armor is being worn. The character may only have one of each type of armor counter active at a time. Any extras, such as these helmets, one can be active and one must be inactive. Active horses are being ridden. A character can only have one horse active at a time. While active, a horse's move strength, in this case the Tremendous, must equal or exceed the weight of the character. Looking at the Black Knight, he has a weight of medium, and each of the items he owns, active or inactive. Note that this may prevent the character from flipping the horse. In this case, with the war horse, he'll be fine because it's tremendous on both sides, but some horses have different weight values on each side of the counter. If a character acquires an item that's too heavy for his active horse to bear, he must immediately inactivate the horse, or he'll have to abandon the belongings in the clearing he's in. Horses may not be active in caves. So, if the Black Knight had his horse activated while he's on an open clearing and then moves in to a cave clearing, he would have to inactivate his horse. Active treasure cards are being used. Their special properties are in effect. They must be kept face up. Inactive items are packed away out of reach. They are kept face down and do not have any game functions. It's important to note that some treasure cards will have restrictions about when they can be activated or inactivated. For example, enchanted cards can never be inactivated. The list of items inside either Magic Realm 3rd edition or Magic Realm in plain English will tell you the specific rules for each treasure card. Whenever a character obtains a new belonging, you must immediately activate it, inactivate it, or abandon each item as he sees fit. A character can buy, sell, or trade goods whether they are active or inactive. A character who is in a clearing can abandon a belonging by putting it on the map in his clearing. He no longer owns that belonging, and in fact will have to search for it if he wishes to pick it up again. All abandoned pieces in a clearing are stacked together. When a character abandons something, he puts it underneath his stack. If he abandons several belongings at once, he can arrange them in any order he chooses, but they must go under all other abandoned pieces that are already there. The denizens. Monsters, natives, and visitor pieces represent the denizens who live in Magic Realm. Like item counters, monster and native counters have different values on each side. The counter represents the values that are face up at the moment, and counters can only be flipped when the rules say so. In general, monsters and natives will always be light side up, unless the rules say otherwise. Okay, so like I said in the intro, we're going to be using the redesigned monster chits, and this is mostly because the size of each monster counter corresponds to its vulnerability. So for these videos, it's kind of hard to tell what the size of this is if there's nothing there to compare it with. So that would mean every time I have to break out another counter and show the different size. However, with these redesigned counters, it simply says what the vulnerability is in the top corner. These also have an advantage too, in that they tell you whether the creature is armored or not. In the older style counters, they didn't say whether it was armored, you just kind of had to remember. And remember, the vulnerability is how much harm you have to inflict on the creature to kill it. The text on the counter gives the monster's other combat values. These will be different depending on which side of the counter is face up. Generally, the darker side is turned face up when the monster or native is being more aggressive. If we take a quick look at the redesigned chits, the lighter face up side is the face that has a white background completely. The darker side, or more aggressive side, is going to have a different color bar here along the bottom. For the tremendous monsters, it's red. For other creatures and natives, it's going to be black. On the original chits, the letter shows the harm the monster will inflict, and the number with the letter is the attack time. If there are any sharpness stars, that's going to add to its damage. These values function the same way as the values on a weapon counter or action chits. The other number on the counter defines his maneuver time, similar to the moved chits or horses. On the redesigned chits, we have similar. In the bottom left-hand corner, you're going to have the harm that the monster inflicts next to the attack time. Then, over on the right hand side, you're going to have the monster's maneuver time. Now they added something else also. In the middle here, inside the parentheses, that's the monster's reach. That wasn't shown on the older chits. It's another advantage of these redesigned chits. These redesigned chits also have the notoriety and fame that's gained from killing them. 5 monsters have 2 counters. The ones we're looking at here are the giants, and they have a club. The tremendous dragons also have a counter depicting their head. These counters represent extra attacks the monster will make. Native counters are the same as monsters, except they do not vary in size. Their vulnerabilities are listed in the back of the instructions. However, since we're using these redesigned chits, again, they will have the vulnerability listed up here in the corner. So, up in the top right-hand corner, you'll see a letter telling you the vulnerability. Also have the circle around it. This circle can either be yellow, meaning that it's unarmored, or gray, silver, meaning that it is armored. The identity code shows which group the native belongs to. For the old chits, it's going to say SHQ. That means it's the soldier leader. On the redesigned chits, it actually spells it out. It says Soldier HQ. Again, they will have a letter telling you the harm that the native can inflict, along with an attack speed next to it, and a sharpness star will be beside that if it's available for that native. The number off on its own will be the movement speed of the native. Now the redesigned chits are a little bit different. They stick with that uniform way of doing it, where the bottom left hand will always have the harm value, the attack speed, any sharpness stars, and then the bottom right will show the move speed, and then in the center it adds that additional information of the range, which is quite helpful. The square horse counters are mounts for the natives and have the same identity code as their rider. They have the same attributes as the round horse counters, but can only be used with their native riders. They are always stacked with their owner unless the rules say otherwise. A visitor mission chit can represent a number of different things. It can represent a sage or magician who is visiting the realm, or a mission that a character can undertake, or a military campaign against one or more groups in the realm. We'll look more at these counters during the hired native section. And that brings us to the setup card. The setup card is used to hold pieces that are hidden somewhere on the map, or they're just too bulky to keep on the map. Most of the denizens and items start the game on the setup card and move to the map during play. During the next video, we're going to take a look at the setup. Let's go ahead and take a look at the different sections of the setup card. In the top left corner, we have the daily record. The day turn chit is going to be put up here to keep track of what turn it is. The sections labeled Lost Castle, Lost City, Treasure Locations, and Dwellings make up the appearance chart. The chart is divided into 6 rows indicated by the arrows in the monster roll boxes. During play, a die roll will indicate which row denizens can appear from on the board and move around the board. The boxes in the treasure location section contain treasure cards as well as denizens. These treasures are hidden at treasure sites which must be found. The boxes in the dwellings and garrison section contain belongings that are for sale by the natives in these garrisons and dwellings. The 7 small boxes in the bottom row are used to hold the visitor and mission chits. The visitor boxes are used to hold the items and spells that the visitors have for sale. The spell book and artifacts boxes hold spell cards. The treasures within treasures boxes hold the belongings located in the treasures within treasures. The game comes with 2 dice, one white and one red. Mine did not, so I just ran down to the store and bought a couple extra red and white die. Whenever a player is directed to make a roll, he rolls 2 dice and takes the highest number. Example of this, if you were to roll the die, and the result came up as a 5 and a 2, the result is a 5. If a modification adds or subtracts from the die roll, it adds to both dice rolled. So if your character for some reason had a +1 to die rolls, this result would actually be a 3 and a 6, and it would be then a 6. All such modifications are cumulative. Results greater than 6 convert to 6. So if you had a +1 from one item and a +1 from another item, that would be a +2. If you rolled these results, you would have a 4 and a 6. Because even though 5 + 2 is 7, bringing it back down to 6 is 6. Any results less than 1 convert to 1. Same thing as the 6. A player must always specify what table he is going to roll on before he rolls. The rules will sometimes call for a different method of rolling. For example, some special abilities and treasures allow a player to roll 1 die, and some game-related die rolls are not subject to players' modifications. Okay, so that was components. Again, a lot of important information there. You're going to need to know how to find different things on the different counters to really understand what you're up against in a fight that we'll cover in a later video. Next week we're going to go over the setup, and I'll probably even try and get in a second episode next week. But that should be about it. We should get through these pretty quick. I'm thinking about a month I should have the main video set done. And then hopefully I'll have a couple characters done, and we'll get some submissions from people. Again, really, I'm going to need some help on those characters. If anybody out there is good at this game and would like to help out, please contact me. It's contact@bookshelfgames. So anyway, thanks for watching, and see you next time.